Good morning. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, and fightbackmediatv.com. Welcome to day 3 of Support Independent Conservative Media. Today's episode is about ownership. We're calling this one Build Our Own Platforms. From YouTube fans to Rumble and beyond. This, my friends, is the digital frontier. And if we want freedom to speak the truth, we're going to have to own the microphone, the camera, and the platform it all streams on. Do you really think that China or Russia or Iran or any of these other people really care if their diplomats check off enough diversity boxes? Really? No. They're worried about winning. Let's worry about winning. For the past few years, we've been sending people into global negotiations who were trained to be activists, not diplomats. So, of course, the left is freaking out. They're screaming that this is an attack on equity and inclusivity. But let's call it what it is. DEI has been nothing but state-sanctioned discrimination and is finally being dismantled. Because, let's be real. DEI has only really benefited 2 main groups. The first group is women. The second group is people who are trans or think they're trans. Let's get this out of the way. Big tech doesn't work for you. It doesn't. It works for control. We've all seen the purges. We've lived the throttling from YouTube removing entire channels without warning. Can you imagine? Imagine getting up, cornering your channel where you've got a couple of thousand videos to find out that it's gone. It's gone. It's history. Nobody told you. You didn't get an email. You didn't get a text. You didn't get a phone call. You weren't going to get a phone call. You didn't get anything, any warning that it might even happen. It's all gone. Deleted. Unrecoverable. To Facebook slapping misinformation labels on everything more nuanced than a cereal box. Any question about the 2020 election or vaccine efficacy or mask mandates. I mean, this is the stuff that we saw in real time. This isn't ancient history. We don't have to go back and dig up the CBS kinescopes to piece it together. This is stuff that we saw in real time. Even people who weren't really trying to say anything out loud, who would make a comment about something, innocently on their Facebook page. We're not talking about people who were, let's go Brandon Trumpers with the flag. We're talking about people who made innocent comments, questions about should we be still wearing masks at this point? I don't think, saying things like, I don't think it did any good. We're getting misinformation tags on Facebook on these simple comments or these simple posts. It was about control. They want sanitized, state-approved speech. And if you're conservative, you're the target. If you use the phrase conservative, you are the target. People like Dan Bongino. And thanks to Ken McClinton, I got to interview Dan Bongino a number of years ago and knew that this dude was special. Steven Crowder. Even some pastors have been demonetized or banned outright. So we can't keep asking the tyrants for permission to speak. Can't keep asking the tyrants for permission to speak. And especially if you look like me, we were all supposed to just hop in there on the Candace Owens train, baby. Oh, yeah, that's our girl. Well, some of us had reservations. And as it turned out, some of our reservations were founded because we didn't go along with what Candace Owens was preaching. Some of us didn't go along with the best way to support Republicans was to talk bad about black people because all black people sucked. And that was fine because it came out of a black face. And a lot of us, especially black conservatives, didn't think that that was the way to go. But here's the good news. We're not waiting around anymore. Conservatives and free thinkers are building their own houses. Rumble has actually become the free speech answer to YouTube. Now, when Rumble started, it was rough. It was rough and rumble. It was. Locals gives creators a subscription-based independence. That means that their material can be monetized. They can actually make enough money, hopefully, to continue to do it. Substack lets independent voices write and reach basically without filters. And of course, Truth Social and Gab have provided free speech spaces where Twitter once failed. Now, Twitter failed. X has not failed. And in that, it has become a lot of times, frankly, a dumpster fire. But free speech is a dumpster fire. It really is. There's all sorts of stuff that you have to scratch your head about, and you're like, ah. But you know what? I've not had one single post get pushed back on. Now, in order to get monetized there, we have not done nearly enough. But it seems like there's an open door there on X. And I appreciate that. Even with the crap, and there is crap. You know why? Because people are crap. Let's talk about some benefits of daylight savings time. Now, frankly, the opposite is true of standard time. The first one is energy conservation. Historically, daylight savings time was implemented to reduce energy consumption by making better use of, freaking daylight hours. The idea was that the longer evening daylight would reduce the need for artificial lighting and lower electricity usage. Now, who could use a break from their electricity bill now? Anybody? Anybody can use a break from their electric bill? Maybe making it a little lower? So maybe you don't have to turn on every damn light in the house at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Maybe you could open a window and that big ball of fire and gas in the sky can help light your house, right? Okay, so when we invest in our own platforms, amazing things happen. Independent documentaries get millions of views. Red River Media on the independent side, independent conservative Christian sides, when being pushed through our own platform, their own platforms, get millions of views and awards for the documentaries they've done. Now we're going to have Kevin Batts on here in a little bit, in a few weeks, hopefully, to talk about their new documentary and how actually pulling away from some of these platforms that all they want is control has done them the most good. Whistleblower interviews survive censorships. Faith-based, conservative, and constitutional voices get amplified instead of erased. So you remember when Tucker Carlson left Fox? You know, there were some of even some of you who were saying, well, I guess Tucker's gone, they've got him, they picked him off. No, his voice is bigger than ever. Remember when Glenn Beck left Fox News, right? And this is leaving Fox. This is not leaving MSNBC. Or actually, Glenn Beck was on CNN for a while, I believe. Now Glenn Beck's voice is bigger than it's ever been. Megan Fox, it's bigger. Her voice is bigger than it's ever been. Right? They didn't disappear. They multiplied. Because now Glenn Beck has a blaze. They own it. They run it. They own the cameras. They own the mics. They own the platform. They own it. And we help them build it, not just by, liking a Facebook post, but we signed up for it. We called our local cable companies and say, hey, we want to see it on our cable. We went directly to their site and said, hey, we want to sign up. Here's my credit card number. We built it. And because they weren't tied to some other platform, they were able to build it. And it's still here. And it's still working. They are the platform. And that's what we need to become. Now, I don't think that somebody who murders a mother and their 12-year-old child has any place in a civilized society either. When he, shoots her and then slits her throat, the 12-year-old. I don't think that person has any place in a civilized society either. Republican leaders slam Biden's decision and have condemned the president's actions, calling them reckless and harmful to public safety. Senator Tom Cotton, Republican from Arkansas, and the incoming chairman of both the Senate GOP conference and the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, led the charge against Biden's clemency announcement. Joe Biden is an addled, corrupt, and demented failure. The White House has become a memory care facility as Biden is led around by his corrupt kids and his Marxist staffers. All right, let's be clear. If we don't own it, we will lose it. That's just our hard reality. There's no neutral ground here in the digital age. Platforms either support freedom or enforce control. And when the infrastructure belongs to your enemy, your message is always at risk. Conservative Christians, constitutionalists, liberty-minded Americans, we must take this seriously. Not enough just to have a voice. We all need a channel that it can't be cut off. My dream is to build Fight Back Media into a place where we're not depending on Facebook, or not depending on YouTube. We're not depending on Rumble, that we are able to only depend on what happens right here in this place. And you're able to access it. Yeah, we'll still try to reach out on YouTube and Rumble and TikTok and X as sort of a missionary mission. But we want to be able to build our own. Yeah, like the Blaze and others. Because I understand that that's really the solution to the problem. Everything else is just a workaround. Everything else is a workaround. If you're in tech, you know the difference between a fix and a workaround, right? Workarounds get you through for now. Doesn't fix the problem. It needs to be our goal all the time to try to actually fix the problem. So we need a channel that can't be cut off, that can't be throttled, that can't be shadow banned. God bless the child that has his own. So here's how we're going to do it. A while ago, when Paul Swanson, that's Swanson SEN, because it's Swedish, and Paul's the Swedish guy I know. Uh, I loved saying that. We did a thing called hashtag Make the Switch, and here is what we suggested: start shifting your content to freedom first platforms like Rumble, Locals, Substack. Now I know you're seeing this on YouTube. I know, but it's going to be on Rumble. Okay, it's going to be on our Patreon page. So start shifting your content to freedom first platforms like Rumble and Locals and Substack. Share the links from those platforms, not from YouTube. I'll handle that. You share the link from Rumble, Locals, Substack from the fightbackmedia.com website. Encourage 3 friends this week. This is the first week of June. I understand there's something else going on in June that people care about, that some people care about. But this week is about us. Encourage 3 friends this week to follow something on an independent site. Support these platforms with a small subscription. We've talked about this all week. $3 a month, $5 a month makes a monstrous difference. This YouTube channel right now has 866 subscribers, which in my view makes this channel here I'm getting to my calculator. I had planned this. Getting to the calculator because I wanted you to see how numbers work and how the power of numbers work. With 866, I'm not talking about that. What if we just do 400 people at $3 a month? That's 1,200. I don't know if you can see that with no, you can't because stupid cheap back screen here. $1,200 a month to support true conservative Christian messaging. That's $3 a month from 400 people. I think that even with times being rough financially, I think that most of us, if we've got any sort of internet service or cell phone service where most people see this, could live without $3. And I know sometimes it seems like it's death by a thousand pricks. 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. Before you know it, it's 300, right? But $3, pick 3. That's $9. You could live your entire month and not miss $9. Promise. Support these platforms with a small subscription, a donation. And if you can't do that, even comments and shares. Because you are a marketing department. We don't have a marketing department here at fightbackmedia.com. We don't have a marketing department. I don't have a Fiverr account. Some dude out there in India working on our SEO, for $75 a month. I don't. All I've got is you. All most of us have is you. So comments and shares, small subscription fees, donations occasionally. Because the more we can build, the bigger we can build, the more we can protect. What are they using in Arizona to count votes? An abacus? Are they using an abacus? There are still, let me look, 2 districts that are not called yet. District 1, I think that's one we were just looking at. And District 6, we're just looking at that. And District 1 is not called yet. How is that possible? Now, a congressional district is about 600,000 people. That's it. That's it. 600,000 people. A lot of major cities in America have more than 600,000 people. And they're able to get those votes counted fairly quickly. It is my gut, and it's only my gut, that if it takes this long, they're not being careful to make sure all the votes are counted. This is the new frontier. This is not just about cancel culture. Let's not get locked up into that. It's about platform power. Let's stop renting our space from our enemies, because that's what this is right here. This is what this is right here. And let's start owning the platforms where truth can thrive. This is what Truth Social is all about. I mean, think about this. When a sitting president of the United States is kicked off of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, those are the big 3, and then even TikTok, right? When the sitting president of the United States of America, when big tech tries to throttle the voice of a sitting president, the ultimate bully pulpit, my guess is they can't be trusted, right? So let's stop renting space from our enemies. Start owning the platforms where truth can thrive. My friends, this has been the Morning Report. This is day 3 of Support Independent Conservative Media Week. Truth, courage, independence. Listen, always drop by our site, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com. Let's build something that lasts. Till we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.